Live stream, would stream. Welcome to our daily devotions. I'm delighted to have you, and I trust that today's devotion will be indeed a blessing to you. Well, have you ever suffered a memory loss? I'm sure on some level all of us have forgotten something, but memory loss is not just a faculty of our mind, it's also a spiritual warning to all of us. So let's listen to God's word in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, when the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Well, a blessed saint of God was my grandmother, Sister Essie Wingfield, a charter member of our church who's present with the Lord, and what a sweetheart she was. And she and my grandfather had upwards of almost maybe 24 grandchildren. And on one occasion, one of my young cousins was at her house and she just couldn't recall his name at that moment. And so she told him, she said, little boy, what's your name? And he said, Grandma, you know my name. Well, at that moment, she really didn't. And it wasn't so important. After all, she had simply forgotten. Well, we all do forget. And what's astonishing in our text is not those who of years forget, but even young people forget. And here King Solomon is admonishing us, remember thy Creator in the days of thine youth. And you might ask, well, what would be some of the probable reasons why a young person may forget the Lord? Well, I think it's fair to say in most cases it's not intentional whatsoever. I think few or any intentionally make up their minds, well, forget God, I'll go on with the rest of my life. No, that's rather the exception rather than the rule. I think young people are sometimes prone to forget the Lord because youth has so few incidents compared to as we get older with greater responsibilities, there are greater problems. And sometimes as youth, we can have somewhat of a problem-free childhood compared to adulthood that we are prone to forget. Sometimes when things are going so well, unconsciously, we're saying to God, farewell, I'll meet up with you again when things turn bad. And then when things turn bad, we ask, where are you, God? Well, we know the answer to that question. God never moved, we did. And so Solomon says, remember thy Creator in the days of thy youth. And he goes on to admonish us before the evil day, or the days of calamity, troublesome, burdensome days, that as we get older, our responsibilities become greater, and sometimes we face different kind of issues like health, and our bodies are not cooperating the way we would like them to, and now life becomes, if you would, sometimes appears more of a burden than a blessing. You see, don't wait until life becomes a burden before you bless the Lord. Bless the Lord at all times, the psalmist admonishes us. Even the young are to bless the Lord. You see, memory lapse is something that we all face. You see, we're a forgetful people. And Moses admonished the children of Israel, thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, who brought thee out of the house of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And he gave you houses that you did not build and vineyards that you did not plant. And when your stomach is full, then thou shalt forget the Lord thy God. And isn't it the words of Jesus that reminds us, do this in remembrance of me? Oh, how prone we are to forget. Have you ever had the experience that you left the house and you got in your car and something was bothering you and you said to yourself, I know I forgot something. Let me go back in the house just to check to be sure before I pull off. Well, may I admonish you today, before you pass on, before you pull off from this world, I think you need to go back inside the house of God and try to remember what you have forgotten. And what you have forgotten is the Lord God. And you don't want to leave the house without Him. I trust that this day will be a day of blessing as you remember the Lord thy God. God bless you.